You see this? You see this crap? This is why I shave my head by default. Anyway, hi YouTube. I've recently been given the suggestion to tell the story of how Virtual Vendetta came to be, because it's actually been a good few-year process, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a huge journey. So, yeah, I'm very happy to tell the story. Shout out to Leslie from back home. You were the one who originally came up with this idea. So without further ado, this is how Virtual Vendetta started. About 8 years ago, I was still living in Australia. This is where I was doing my studies for university. And I came across a video called Mario Warfare. It was done by Beatdown Boogie. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Like, they brought together so many characters from Nintendo, put them all into the same world, made them interact with each other. It was absolutely fantastic. It tied into the original games. And the best thing is, I wasn't much of a Nintendo person growing up. I had a Sega Mega Drive, and then I went into a PlayStation 1. So, yeah, Nintendo was always the one that you'd play at your friend's house. A lot of the Nintendo characters I had no idea about, and yet I found myself very interested in learning who they were. But when I finished watching Mario Warfare, it just popped into my head, the idea. Xbox versus PlayStation, oh, that would be cool. Wouldn't that be cool to see that? But, you know, I'm in the middle of studies and I'm not even a YouTuber, so I can't do anything like that. Until later. So, in my spare time, just to blow off some steam, I was a cosplayer. I'd always enjoyed making costumes since I was a kid. I would do my best to make some very combat-ready costumes, if you will, and I'd wear them into conventions. And the best thing that happens there is people take pictures of you and stuff, and, you know, if you're a cosplayer, you can grow your page. But I didn't want to be a cosplayer. I didn't want to do it for a profession. It was just fun. But I noticed that my costumes were definitely a lot more durable than most. Like, I could actually pretend stage combat and, you know, do fancy stuff. But, you know, I wouldn't be able to mess around with other cosplayers because their stuff would fall apart. So I thought one day I thought I'd be able to upgrade my hobby by, instead of going to cosplay conventions, why don't I make videos using the cosplays? And that's when my very first video about Dragon Ball Z was born, because I did have a few of those. I had a bunch of other ones, but that was one I wanted to recreate, because there was a lot of live-action DBZ hype at the time. And I wanted to throw my hat into the ring, and at the same time, I wanted to do something that was, like, more close to the original anime that I grew up with, and I obviously watched it in Japanese. But, yeah, I wanted to do something that the current live-action versions hadn't done yet. Just a reenactment of one of our favorite scenes, you know, from Dragon Ball. So that video took off, not in the way I was hoping, but I don't know what I was expecting. I never made a video in my life. This was my absolute first try. I had basically commissioned a camera friend, a one-up tour, how you doing, who had done these. I bought a tripod, by the way. And he goes, camera? Dude, what are you doing? Just go. Use the tripod. This is the same thing, man. Needless to say, the video quality didn't come out so good, but not only that, I didn't know what I was doing. I've never edited or done any kind of level of effects on a video before. Enter Chris Clemens. Chris Clemens, otherwise known as the Mr. Menagerie on YouTube, had done a number of very, very good VFX tutorials. And I was having a look at them, and I thought, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing, and he seems really friendly. So I just gave it a shot, and I threw him a YouTube message. I said, hey man, this is what I'm working on. I don't know anything about effects. I need your help. And he actually responded. This guy has a very huge number of subscribers. I was literally a nobody at the time. And yeah, he responded to me. So that was really, really cool. We got in touch on Skype, and he started showing me, like, live through screen sharing how to do certain things, how to even use After Effects. And I found myself learning a lot from him. He even put up a couple of tutorials for my sake. By religiously studying Chris Clemens and all the advice he gave me, as well as the other things he told me to go check out, I managed to scrape together a small amount of experience to edit the entire Dragon Ball Z video. People did seem to enjoy the way I shot it, though, the timing and whatnot. People seem to enjoy things other than, you know, the horrible-looking characters and the effects. So, come another day when I was just sitting around at home, and someone sends me a message with a video of someone taking a beer that had been in the freezer for a while, and he smacks it on the table, and it just instantly freezes. And he said, you should do this in your Sub-Zero outfit. And I said, that is an awesome idea, because it's like a free effect right there, you know? So yes, I'm in, I did it. And I also had a Scorpion costume sitting in the house. So the next day I was like, that was really fun. I want to make another video of Scorpion trying to take a bath, and then Sub-Zero like freezes it or something, and then he's like messing with him. And then after that idea, boom, MK Roomies. I wanted to make a series of stupid videos to blow off steam in my spare time, so it's replaced my cosplay hobby, but it's something that I get to use as an outlet while I'm still studying my master's degree. For the record, my undergrad and master's degree are in medical microbiology and immunology. However, that's not medicine. Do not confuse medical science for medicine. I was no doctor. So, I finished my master's degree, and I had still been making MK Roomies, and it started to take off. I started to have actually quite a number of views, so I kept up with it whenever I could. But at the same time, it was time to look for a job. So I was using my degree to the best I could to get any job that I could, really. But they like experience. They really like experience. I was not doing so well on that front, considering I'd spent nearly my entire life studying. So after about a year and a half of searching, I'd managed to pull off maybe 2 interviews for a job, and the rest of them didn't even respond to me. And the 2 interviews I did get, I lost out to a person with a PhD. So, my plan was clear. I gotta get a PhD. And I got accepted into the University of Southampton to work on cancer sciences. It was a very, very generous opportunity. Unfortunately, genetics is my weakest subject. So I dove into this PhD with only one objective: get this damn degree so I can finally get a job. And to anyone who's taking a PhD in a serious subject like that, you know, or any PhD that requires so many years of study, I can tell you just wanting to get it over and done with and add doctor to the title of your name is not enough. The people who endure a PhD are so unbelievably high in academic level and work ethic. I could not even hope to match it. In fact, I'm in awe just watching them. I could not keep up. Master's degree was already quite a swim, but I made it. But PhD was a whole nother level. It was the final bottleneck of academia, and I did not have what it took. So much to mine, my supervisor, and my father's dismay, I had no choice but to drop out, because it was either that or go on academic probation, which I've always been a person who, you know, who's never failed at anything, who's always done well on his exams, and suddenly I'm the struggling student. I couldn't handle it. So I've dropped out of PhD, and now I'm thinking, what the hell do I do now? I couldn't get a job before this, now I could not succeed in the PhD. I am screwed. And then it hit me. I do have some experience. It's not in medical science. It's in filmmaking. I've made by this point about 70 episodes of MK Roomies and generated just a substantial number of people who enjoyed watching the show. And this is with really crappy effects, playing all the characters, and shooting in my own house. It was it's just a cringy, silly, but yet kind of funny series that made me realize that what if I really tried to make a video? What if I really put all my effort into making a top quality, like hire people to help me, and make a real proper film? And that's when I thought, what about that film I came up with 5 years ago in Australia about Xbox versus PlayStation? I happen to have a few friends here that were film students, so I spoke to them and they said, yes, this is feasible, you could do it, you'll need some money, but not too much, because you have a lot of university resources at your disposal. So, that was it. I was going to do it. I called it Console Wars to start, which was going to cause some serious problems later. This is why we renamed it. Mr. Blake Harris, I'm sorry, I didn't know about the book. I checked for existing films called Console Wars, there wasn't any, and I didn't realize there was a book. That's my bad. But, so we're going to call it Virtual Vendetta from this point, even though at that point I conceptualized it as Console Wars. But, Virtual Vendetta was officially in motion. And that'll end it for this little episode, I guess. So, I'll pick it up next time, and I'll talk about the next thing I did. Anyway, for those of you who stuck this far, thank you for listening, and I hope you'll tune in soon. I'll do these videos as often as I can. There's a lot to tell. Anyway, have a good day, guys. See ya.